Welcome to my August. I was gonna say July. My August recap. You guys got my notes here, and so this recap is from July 30th, from my last recap, to August 27th. And the books that I read all throughout this month, the books in the Bible was Psalms, Romans, First Chronicles, Proverbs, First Corinthians, Second Chronicles, Ecclesiastes, Songs of Songs, and Second Corinthians. That was all the chapters that I read so far that I'm still going through. They're not completely done yet, but yeah. So the ones that stood out to me this month, I just go right into it. Psalms 91. Psalms 91 is so important to me because my grandmother, you know, a long time ago, before she passed away, she used to tell me all the time, Neen, read Psalms 91 before you go to bed, and it was just basically a chapter of protection. I'm pretty sure this one's a really popular one. The chapter is about protecting you, tells you God is your protector and you will not face the dangers of the day, and that you will be blessed even beyond your enemies, so it just really means a lot to me. I used to know it by heart. I literally said it at my Uncle Mike's church in front of everybody before, and read it without looking at the words. And I was so proud of myself. Um, but yeah, I kind of still remember it, but I'm not going to do it. but yeah, Psalms 91 is something that every time I go to appointments and things like that, I read Psalms 91. And I'll get into that later. The next one is Psalms 92. I love that one. It talks about the Lord reigning and he will protect you as well, and that he loves us. That was one of the best ones. Psalms 93 as well is the next one after that. And it just Psalm 91 through 93, I love it. It gives me joy every time I read it, so I really recommend those. Proverbs 19 was rules of about not being hot tempered, listening to good advice, and disciplining your children. It was basically a rule book. I'm letting you know about that, like not being hot tempered, being so quick to be angry, and the right way of disciplining your children, and just listening to good advice and just being a good overall person. Proverbs 19. First Corinthians 6. Now the Corinthians are such good rule books. Like I recommend First Corinthians 6. That one talks about bodies being being temples, and not using it for sexuality, and honoring God with our bodies. Read that one. And First Corinthians 7 is another good one. That one is a rules of being faithful to your spouse and not doing things that are against it. That one's a really good one too. I had a lot that stood out to me, so I really recommend reading First Corinthians 7. First Corinthians 11 as well. The rules about marriage and divorce. That was a big one that I kept reading. And I was in the bathtub, right? And I was listening to a couple of little rules about it, and the reason we should get a divorce, and the things that we shouldn't, and what we do in the marriage. And it just really stood out to me, and it really made me feel like, one of the things was about actually giving your body to your spouse, and not and not what I'm looking for, and not telling your spouse no, basically, you know what I mean. And giving your spouse the grace, because of temptation in this world. You have to people may not be in a mood all the time, but it is very important to know that your body is not just your body when you're married, and you have to be okay with giving your body to your husband and your wife, and it came at a good time, because the announcement I'm about to say, I am finally pregnant again. That was my announcement that I wanted to say from the last one. But in in July's recap, I said I was going to announce a blessing, and I am pregnant. Today I'm 14 weeks, and I had the best test results. Test results came back. Everything is great. Everything is not perfect, because only God is, but everything's a blessing. Everything is great. Everything's good. I know it's actually happening this time from our loss that we had last year, and just the things that we went through last year, and actually giving birth to a stillborn on December 24th on Christmas Eve, but able to make it home by Christmas morning, before Christmas morning, was a blessing. And we just was going through it that whole pregnancy, and I was not ready to get pregnant again this year. I did not think it was going to happen this year, but God blessed us. And so with First Corinthians coming up, I was not giving my body to my husband, just not in the mood, you know what I mean? And I had to get out of it. I had to snap out of it. So I'm glad I did. But anyway, definitely read First Corinthians 11. And yeah, so that was our blessing, our testimony. We had a stillborn last year, and I feel like it was still a connection. I feel like this baby angel, our angel Cherie Joseph, that's in heaven, like kind of held hands and gave her sibling up to this baby. We don't know if it's a boy or girl yet, but yeah, so it's a blessing. I cried when I found out, to be honest. I cried negatively. I didn't want to be pregnant again right away. I didn't know what that means, you know. We wasn't even trying, but it's just crazy because last time I was manifesting it and I was trying and blah, blah, and then it happened, and then the loss happened, and then now I wasn't trying, and then boom. I was working out. I was eating clean. For the most part, I was doing all types of great things, and I ended up pregnant right in the midst of it. I was taking my Kourtney Kardashian gummies, de-bloat. My stomach was going down. I was feeling great. I was like, ooh, you know, feeling so good about my workouts. I was going in at home. I was on my 30-day challenge of Joy Travis challenge, and I was on day 27 when I found out. I think I was on day 27, and I ended up doing a little bit of workouts, but I finished it basically. But yeah, it's crazy, but I'm thankful, and so far so good. This is one of my best pregnancies, and I pray that our due date is February 25th, 2026. So I pray that, you know, everything continues to go well, and I thank God. But yeah, I'm just saying to say God is good. Keep God first. Keep your prayers, y'all. I got one more that I wanted to tell you guys, was 1 Corinthians 13. Basically, do not delight in evil ways, and being hot-tempered is another one. So I definitely recommend those books. I definitely had a good month this month. On August, the kids started school. Everything was great. I got a raise at work, and I've been working my butt off, and my husband's been doing the best that he can as well with his schooling starting up again with his last 2 classes he has, and he's been having, like, you know, people needing his work done because he's a mechanic in the DFW area. And I just thank God. God's been blessing us. We've been up, staying up, trying to stay up, you know, doing the best we can in this life. And yeah, so that was our recap. That's our blessing. And I thank y'all, and continue to read your word and continue to keep God first. Love y'all.